And we're back. State Capitol is where you find Meet the Leaders these days. I'm David Smith, and we are pleased to have with us a great friend of the area, Representative Libby Floren. Libby represents Greenwich and has been one of the great mediators in many instances, and is one of those who is able to deal with both sides of the aisle very effectively. And it's always good to see you, Libby. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Glad to be here.
You had a very late night last night. Yep. You've got a day and a half or so to go, and it doesn't get that much easier in the waning hours of things. You should take a look at what has been accomplished, and this being a shortened session, not as much as a lot of people would have liked to have seen accomplished, but how do you read what took place?
Well, the short session traditionally is just the financial session, you know, where we tweak the biennium budget, and we only discussed the budget for the first time last night. So there have been a ton of bills that to me did not really relate to finance, but they've gone through, and that's okay.
Well, that's an interesting point. You know, as you folks at home know, we have a long session and a shortened session, and as Representative Floren suggests, shortened session is supposed to be about budget items. Everything eventually comes down to budget, doesn't it?
Yeah, show
right?
me the money.
It all comes down to money. So education was something that was, of course, at the top of the list for everybody. The governor said that very early on, and this was going to do it.
Reform.
And it didn't work out exactly as he had planned necessarily along the way either.
I think it just got off to a wrong start, and that was probably more tone than substance.
Okay.
And so it's taken all of this time to get back to consensus. And I believe it passed out of the Senate last night or early this morning. I think it was 24-7 maybe. And we'll be taking it up today. We're going to do campaign finance reform first, and then I believe we're taking up education in the House.
Now, what is involved? The education suggestion is that most likely it will pass.
Yes.
And of course the governor will sign it. Electoral reform. What are we seeing there?
Well, what we're seeing, I'm hoping that it's still in the bill, is more disclosure. You know, that if you are a member of a corporation or the board of trustees of a nonprofit and your organization donates to a candidate, you have to be listed as an individual in addition. This is in actually to try to mitigate what I feel was the harm in that Citizens United decision, where unions, corporations, and whatever could just unilaterally and anonymously contribute untold amounts of money to candidates with no accountability and no transparency. And that just, to me, defies logic.
You know, it's very interesting. Around election time, everybody talks transparency. And yet, once you get into office and get it ingrained, transparency, or at least what many people define as transparency, gets lost in the shuffle. And it leads us to situations such as this, where you have to fight to find out who's
doing
donating
what to whom.
Exactly, on all sides. I mean,
Yep.
it's both sides of the aisle.
And
no
now
question.
with these 527s and these super PACs, there's no way. I mean, it's like unscrambling an egg to go back four checks to see what was the original donor. It's not right.
What are we going to be able to do what will this bill clear up?
Well, you'll have to specify the individual donor. You will have to tell exactly how much was given. And if you are a stockholder or a union member, and you know, a stockholder in a corporation or a dues-paying union member, you can now say, I don't want any of my dues to be spent for political activities. That's big.
That is very big. Now, are you getting a feeling on how that's going to be reacted to?
I think it'll go through.
You think it will?
Yeah. I think we took out, I'm on the government administration and elections committee, and I have been my whole legislative life. And when the bill first came to us, it was a disaster. I mean, they had increased the amounts of PAC money that could be given, they had increased the organizational expenditures, and they had increased the Citizens Election Program fund for governor from $6 million to $9 million. Now that's outrageous, especially in this economy. And when we first enacted that campaign finance, or the Citizens Election Fund, in 2005, the idea was to increase access for just a normal run-of-the-mill person, and to level a playing field. There is no way that was ever designed to keep up with self-funders or people that had access to the super PAC money. You cannot do it. There's not enough money made to do that. And it wasn't what we had in mind.
You optimistic that will pass today?
I am, but you know me, I'm always optimistic.
Well, we like optimism. That's always nice to find up here. There's no question about it. Representative Libby Floren of Greenwich, thank you so much. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Bear with it for a few more hours, and hopefully your optimism will be borne out by reality. Always.
Thank you. I'm so glad to see you, David. Always.
Meet the leaders, some of the best. We've got more coming up for you from Hartford. Just a moment, stay with us.